Hello. Many interesting things are happening. Some of these things are related to events, other things are related to statements. Look at Bilal Bhutto Zardari's latest statement. The ex foreign minister who heads the delegation that is visiting the US, a very important one, says that ISI and RAW should cooperate to reduce terrorism. The paragraph that is cited in Dawn makes a very interesting reading. He says, in quote, I am completely confident that if ISI and RAW were ready to sit down and work together to fight these forces, we would see a significant decrease in terrorism in both India and Pakistan. The implications of this statement are wide ranging, but let's first look at the radical intent behind it. And one could, in principle, agree with the intent, which is that any step that leads to saving of lives, any step that leads to reducing tensions between two nuclear armed neighbors, any step that prevents misunderstanding from spiraling into the possibilities of a nuclear showdown or a very expensive kind of war need to be appreciated. And if intelligence operatives and their heads are able to meet up and sort things out and help contribute to peace, no harm in doing that. You could also take a leaf from the way the USA and USSR and now USA and Russian intelligence agencies interacted with each other during the Cold War. There is no declared history of KGB heads meeting the CIA heads, but they both declared intelligence representatives in their respective missions, and they used to be the front persons for back-end engagement for both intelligence agencies. At this point in time, CIA and Russian intelligence agencies operatives are engaged with each other, but these are more in stealth and in shadow rather than in broad daylight or publicly declared interactions. But interactions do take place. So there's nothing unusual about RAW and ISI guys interacting with each other and talking to each other to sort out issues which are to the mutual disadvantage of both, but if sorted out, will be to the mutual advantage of both. So in terms of its radical intent, the ambition behind this statement seems to play to the peace gallery. That's just fine. The practical side, as we speak, however, poses a totally different problem. I do not know whether Bilal Bhutto Zardari had the actual political mandate to make a proposal like this, or was it part and parcel of a general statement that he was making in order to make and expand the peace pitch that Pakistan is making to the world, coming across as a more reasonable state, as a more restrained state, a state that has interest in constructing peace around this region, and basically outliving the possibilities of another showdown. We do not know that, but as I speak to multiple people here in Pakistan, I can tell you that I have not heard this kind of talk or chatter or even whispers being mentioned in the corridors of power and policy where ISI and RAW are supposed to be coming together and working this thing out. Our ISI chief is also the national security advisor. So therefore, he carries two batons and wears two hats. And therefore, there is a possibility that if the NSA were to meet, ISI chief from Pakistan side will get involved in sorting these issues out. But here, Bilal Bhutto Zardari is not talking about ISI chief wearing two hats and engaging with the Indian counterparts. He's talking about a direct interaction between RAW and ISI. And I frankly have not heard this kind of idea being even remotely debated here in the echelons of power. There's a possibility that Bilal Bhutto Zardari may be speaking about the ultimate goal that Pakistan and India ought to pursue, which is when the intelligence heads meet, that means they are really discussing real business. This is the big cheese moment in the ties between the two countries. But that is still very far away, considering the fact that we have barely reduced the troops to the recent war levels, and the rhetoric from India continues to sizzle, and it continues to be absolutely toxic and poisonous and threatening. At this point in time, it is very unlikely that there is room for these two heads to meet and discuss issue of terrorism. A more fundamental objection to the statement could be also raised. Bilal Bhutto Zardari, in a para that Dawn quotes, also suggests that non-state actors cannot be allowed to hold the future of 1.5 or 1.7 billion people hostage, and therefore, when these two intelligence heads meet, they will be able to tackle this problem of non-state actors. The issue is that from Pakistan's point of view, increasingly now, it used to be the case in a by-the-way fashion, but now it's a declared policy. From Pakistan's point of view, increasingly, these are not non-state actors that are operating against Pakistan's interests. These are extensions of a state's policy which is driven by animus, which is driven by hate, and the state happens to be India. So India is not supervising a general internal chaos in Pakistan perpetrated by non-state actors. India is actually actively funding, bankrolling, creating an infrastructure of terror inside Pakistan. Pakistan has Kulbhushan Yadav as a classic personification of India's policy. And the person happens to be an active member of the Indian services, and he was running a very dark, very detailed network inside Pakistan. We also know that raw representatives go to Afghanistan and engage with those very groups, allowing them extra facilities, training them, giving them intel to strike inside Pakistan. So when Bilal Bhutto Zardari says that these are non-state actors who could be reined in by state intelligence representatives, the main point is being missed. The main point is this, that increasingly from Pakistan's point of view, these non-state actors are an extension of India's state's policy to undermine Pakistan. And by the way, this does not require deep research or deep background briefings to be understood this point. India's representatives, from Amit Shah to the defense minister to the prime minister himself, are on the record suggesting how they are going to twist Balochistan to India's advantage, and how Balochistan is going to be made to become independent in order to truncate Pakistan further and reduce it to its pliable and pliant state that India desires. So these are not non-state actors, and RAW is deeply involved in it. So a RAW chief meeting the ISI chief will say what, will do what. For this to happen, RAW, as part of the larger policy to destabilize Pakistan, has to roll back its entire agenda, which is endorsed by the political leadership. That doesn't seem to be happening. So the practical side of it, frankly, leaves a lot to one's imagination, and leaves nothing to the implementation part of it. You will not be able to get to see ISI and RAW cooperate on anything as long as RAW continues to be part and parcel of a strategy to upend Pakistan, to destroy Pakistan, to implode Pakistan from within. That's what their agenda is. And Modi certainly will not sanction that. Not the least because Modi is under tremendous pressure. Look at how Congress is mocking him. Rahul Gandhi's statement and the way he was smirking when he was making this statement about Narendra Modi surrendering to a call coming from Trump is the ultimate insult on BJP's 56-inch large chest that Modi seems to represent. That's the kind of burden that Modi now carries. He's under tremendous internal pressure. He's being mocked and humiliated by the opponents, and rightly so, because the rhetoric that he built did not square with the reality on ground. And look at this tweet itself. Ji Sarkar, Ji Hazur, Modi surrender, Trump shouting at Modi, and Modi saying, in a servile way, yes, sir, I will do it right away. But this kind of pressure on Modi, he is not likely to create space for any kind of engagement. He's likely to climb up on the ladder of more animosity, more animus, more poison, more war talk. Certainly, RAW will not be geared towards meeting the ISI to sort out the problem of terrorism. So therefore, I don't know where the proposal came from. Uh, I agree with the intent behind the proposal and think that reduces tensions, that brings the two countries together is welcome. But in terms of practicality and the timing, that seems to be missing not just one, but many points about the ground reality in South Asia.